subscribe and click the notification bell.
Welcome to another episode of Our Trio. And today on Our Trio, first, we're talking about the Reconstruction Era. Second, we're talking about is Joe Biden a creep? Then third, we're talking about is Herschel Walker right? Our Trio, let's go.
Do it, 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 do it.
The Reconstruction Era was from 1865 through 1817. And this was a wonderful time for black people because they just got free from slavery. The Civil War was over with and the North won the war. The 13th Amendment was passed, the 14th Amendment, and the 15th Amendment. There was 2,000 black men in office. A lot of the slaves was given their 40 acres in a mule. But every American didn't agree with that at the time. So the government decided to take back all that land and started sharecropping. It was like one step forward and two steps back for black people. And even though we had black guys in office, there was still no black women in office at the time.
Next.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. And I tell you,
that's who y'all want me to vote for? Oh man, Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Woo! What a choice. Let me know what you think about Joe Biden. Are you voting for him?
Next.
A few years ago, it was the pro athletes who knelt for the national anthem who made news. Well, now the media goes berserk when players stand for our anthem. Now, why is that? And what does it say about where we're headed? Former NFL player Herschel Walker joins me now. Herschel, it's great to see you tonight. What do you think when with everything that you've experienced in your career, everything you saw as an athlete, when you see this?
Well, it makes me very sad. It makes me sad because you said it earlier, a couple of years ago, you had to explain why you were kneeling, and now you got to explain why you're standing. And, you know, you have a lot of politics now entering sports that I think it should be out because, you know, why do a player need to decide who is he for? And right now, the management is trying to decide that for you by putting BLM over everything. And my question I have is, what BLM are you supporting? The organization or who is it you're supporting? Because the organization is not something I think speaks for a lot of people.
Well, Jonathan Isaac with the Magic was the first NBA player to stand during the national anthem last week. Now, here's the first question, Herschel, that he was asked after that game.
Do you believe that Black Lives Matter?
Absolutely. I believe that Black Lives Matter, and kneeling or wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt don't go hand in hand with supporting Black lives. For me, Black lives are supported through the gospel. All lives are supported through the gospel.
He's a faithful Christian, and he believes that everyone should be treated equally without regard to race, with love and compassion. And he's interrogated for that.
Well, that is terrible. Well, what's terrible is think about the first question she asked. Because you're standing, are you against Black Lives Matter? Well, that has nothing to do with it. You know what? And what I said early on, Black Lives Matter is a group that has alienated themselves to one political party. That's the Democratic Party. And everyone knows in Washington, unless you can bring both parties together, you're not going to get anything done. So was that their agenda? Is just to alienate themselves from one party because they support the Democratic Party. And then to question him, because you're standing, are you against Black Lives Matter? I'm not against Black Lives Matter because I think all Black Lives Matter, not just certain Black Lives Matter, but I'm for America Lives Matter because I'm in America. And so people get upset when I say that, and I'm like, guys, I'm an American. I love America. And there's no doubt we can solve the problem we have going on, but we got to come together and talk about it. We can't just get out and make statements. You know, no one has ever wanted to communicate about it.
Herschel, I just think it's so important for people to have a refuge in sports that transcends politics and brings people together for the love of the game. And you certainly bring that to the equation, and it's great to see you tonight. Come back soon. And up next...
Now, I don't agree with Herschel Walker. I can agree about the Black Lives Matters organization because I don't know much about them. I tried to do a little research, but I fully don't know about them. But as far as the Black Lives Matters movement, I 100% agree with it. The young man in the NBA didn't want to stand up. That's his decision, his choice. But some people believe karma came back and got him.
Jonathan Isaac in a wheelchair and going to be helped off the floor, getting pats on the back from players on both teams. Just a tough thing to watch to see Jonathan go down again, playing in only his second game since coming back from a left knee injury. You see that tape and a brace underneath on that left knee, and clearly it gave.
What's your thoughts on it? Subscribe. Click that notification bell to keep up with me when I post 3 different topics coming at you 3 times a week. If you want the latest R Trio shirt, hit me up.